You know why? You know why? Because integrity doesn't work that way. That's why I'm done.
I think that, you know, that...
Your first fight, okay, you won the battle. Tonight you lost the war. Because when you lose definitively like that, it's over.
We had a face-off, and he's dancing because he loves the limelight. He don't care about his son. He just loves the limelight, and he's dancing. He come right next to me, and I thought, you know, let me just shake your hand. And I pulled him into a hug, and he put his hand like that up to me. I actually felt like I wanted to. And so when he tried to shake my hand tonight, I thought, I ain't playing your games, mate. I ain't playing your games. You know, and I thought to myself, no, I don't even think I'll speak to him again because I find he's the right prat. He's an idiot.
I tried my best. And listen, the kid fought hard, he fought tough. He's got power, this kid. You know, he was bigger on me, bigger than...
He did what he needed to do to win. He fought a great fight, and I'm not here to talk about me. He's a tough man. He's a great fighter, and I respect him.
Everything. The way Chris boxed there just showed you how hard making the weight was for him last time. The older he is, the way I can get you down to 2 stone. You might not be able to tie your shoelaces, but I can get you down. So even though he got down to it, you saw the effect of it there. It looked like a man walking in slow motion, in quicksand. Conor was all over him. Well deserved. Well deserved to the end. Chris had nothing to give. And that, you remember the last fight, Chris had nothing left to give. Conor did. And the way Conor boxed, he did. He never left him alone. Ripped his heart out. He did the right thing.
I knew Conor would win. I actually thought Conor would have stopped him. And it's only when Conor caught him in the 12th round. He was slipping a lot of the punches, and Conor never really caught him flush until the 12th round.
Fading, aging Chris Eubank Jr. there, a guy that was a shell of his former self. You know, again, not taking anything away from Conor's performance, but Chris, you know, has clearly come to the end of the road. He looked like a shot fighter there tonight, which is quite...
Thoughts, right? I think Conor Benn sound, like I know him quite well. Eubank shot to bits, done, finished, terrible. He was awful, he was terrible. I'm not a great fighter, but he was terrible by his standards. He was awful, he was terrible. He was shot to bits, his balance is gone. Every time he got hit in the head, he looked startled and looked like he didn't want to be there. His jab, he was snatched.
He had a Benn victory, and it was a beautiful boxing display by Conor. Really, really good. And he deserves his success after a very, very tough few years.
You can hear Chris Eubank Sr. unraveling in that chaotic final round. While he pleaded for a miracle, Conor Benn had already sealed the outcome. The poise, the control, the dominance, all belonged to Benn, not the Eubank corner.
Last round, I was shouting, Rastafari, lick him up, Rastaf, lick him up, lick him, I got into the feet.
Hunter speaks with a rare sincerity in moments like this. He makes it clear that beyond the noise, the hype, and the disappointment, the bond between Chris Eubank Jr. and his father remains untouched. Boxing comes and goes, but that relationship...
Outside of everything else, outside of all the noise and the promotion and the fight, your relationship with your dad never goes. That's always there. That's long-standing. That's without boxing. You know, what's boxing? You know, because I picked the relationship.
Conor showed exactly why he's being hailed as British boxing's new star. Eddie Hearn saying he won every round and broke Eubank down to the body proves how complete the performance was. This wasn't emotion, it was pure control. A welterweight stepping up to middleweight and avenging a 35-year family wound shows everything about his mentality. He boxed smart, mature, and disciplined, delivering a schooling that even critics had to acknowledge. Concentrate, they said, and Conor answered flawlessly.
Schooling, really. Won every round, dropped it, 10 more seconds, the fight's over. Different kind of fight, obviously, to the first fight, but needed to be. Needed to box smart and not use his emotions in there. I thought he boxed really well, busted him up to the body, and yeah, massive win for a welterweight to come up to middleweight and avenge that defeat and finally get a victory for the Benn family in the 4th episode.
35 years in the making.
Yeah,
no need for a trilogy, no?
No, we want to move back there. Conor's the new star of British boxing, you know what I mean? Look, he's filled Tottenham twice, and you know he needed to be a bit smarter there you know how exciting he is, but he just needed every round. I was just saying to him, just concentrate, please.
Conor entered knowing the narrative was stacked against him. Liam Smith calling Eubank badly drained only highlights how unfair the conditions were for Conor the first time. People forget Conor was giving up size, stepping into a non-title fight with stipulations that only favoured Eubank. Check weights, pressure, legacy, everything pointed to chaos. Yet it was Conor who stayed composed while Eubank again looked awful under the same conditions. When you're the better fighter, you make even a drained opponent look levels beneath you.
He shouldn't, because one, it's a non-title fight. Two, the IBF have a check weight, yes, but it's actually more than this check weight is, which is 12 pounds for the IBF. This was only 10 pounds. So for me, and again, non-title, so none of this should have really happened. And I said that if it goes ahead again with the same stipulations, Eubank looked terrible first time, he'll probably look even worse the second time. And if he wins, okay, you have to win with one hand tied behind drop, but if you lose, you can't really go and turn around and say, look what I've done, it's amazing. Well, not really. I mean, you fought a guy who's badly drained. So that was what I was thinking going into this fight.
Conor forced Chris Eubank Jr. to face reality. When a proud fighter like Eubank admits Conor put on a hell of a fight and did everything right, it speaks volumes. This wasn't luck, it was Conor executing a complete, controlled game plan and making a man who thrives on warfare concede he'd been outclassed. Conor handled the danger, managed the risk, and by the end, even Eubank could only offer respect. The difference in hunger, sharpness, and discipline was undeniable. Conor proved he belongs far above that level.
Of, you know, the dangers and the risk, you know, we go to war. That's what we do. I tried my best. Conor Benn put on a hell of a fight. He had a great performance. He did everything that was asked of him, and I congratulate him for his performance tonight. He did what he needed to do to win. He fought a great fight, and I'm not here to talk about.
Conor delivered the exact masterclass Eddie Hearn described. Staying focused and composed was the difference, and he proved he is simply the superior fighter. The size disadvantage, the weight jump, none of it mattered once Conor dictated the tempo. Eddie suggesting this could be Eubank's last fight shows how definitive the performance was. Conor didn't just win, he removed the excuses. He removed the debates. He showed that skill and discipline will always beat a faded opponent relying solely on toughness. The better boxer won.
Class performance. I know it wasn't as exciting as the first fight, but that's what he had to do. He just had to stay switched on, be composed, and just, I said, he's much better than Chris Eubank. I mean, the problem was giving away 2 weight classes, and Eubank, I said going into this fight, I think this will be Eubank's last fight, and I truly believe that. I think that last fight would have taken so much out of him. He's a very brave man, and he deserves a lot of credit, but he was just beaten by the much better boxer.
Conor Benn showed why Johnny Nelson kept calling it a pendulum swing. Conor never guessed what he could get away with. His pace and pressure made the answers obvious. Chris drained himself again trying to recreate the past, while Conor surged on his own momentum. In a sport where draining yourself can be deadly, Conor stayed sharp while Chris stripped away every advantage he used to have. The constant pressure, controlled aggression, and relentless output took the fight from Eubank and proved Conor was the stronger man that night.
Both. They're both going, it's like a pendulum. Conor knew what he could do, didn't think, I'm not sure what I can get away with from the last fight. For Chris, the pendulum is, which rinsed himself down that much, he's thinking he can do it again. As I said, anybody can get down to the weight, it's what you can do with the weight. Boxing is the worst place to be if you aren't going to put yourself at a disadvantage, because it's the only place you can legally get killed. And so what Chris did was, Chris depleted any advantage he had in the first fight. And again, in this fight here, what did he expect? Conor just had to put him under pressure, keep up the pace. He took the pace, made him work constantly. And when you make him work constantly, that's how he snatched it.
Fought like a man whose fate was already written on the canvas. Even Derek Chisora felt it, repeating that it was meant for Conor to win. Chris had his supporters, but once the exchanges began, it was clear Conor owned the moment. The sharp shots, the discipline, the confidence, all leaned his way. When Chisora stopped shouting for Chris and admitted, Conor's got this. It
It was all written for Conor to win it.
I need a photo.
It was Conor's. It was there for Conor to win it. He won it. He dropped him in the last round. You know, I kept on saying, Chris. And then I saw them, and I said, Conor's got it.
Conor Benn keeps getting compared to fighters from different eras, yet he keeps silencing critics every time the bell rings. Dave Allen tried downplaying the win by calling Eubank faded, but Conor still had to walk in, apply pressure, and dismantle a man with far more middleweight experience. Comparing him to Nigel Benn in 1990 only highlights the unfair expectations. Conor is building his own identity, and beating Eubank the way he did proves he belongs in major conversations at 147 or 154. He's far more dangerous than people.
To get anything away from it, he lost to a faded Eubank, and then he just beat a shot to bits one. That don't make that. He's not 147. He's not 147 champion elect on the back of that.
Not going to win a world title at 147 now, though.
Maybe, but the champions aren't. They're not A-level champions. They're like the B-level champions. Barrios, Crocker, they're very good fighters, but they're not great fighters. But I'm still not sure he'll beat him. I don't think Conor Benn's a fantastic boxer. Nigel Benn, 1990, Nigel Benn would have flattened Chris Eubank Jr. in one round tonight.
Conor Benn showed real maturity in this fight, and Tony Bellew explained it perfectly. Round after round he stuck to the plan, using feints to offset Eubank and refusing to get dragged into wild exchanges. Even when Chris tried to rally in the 7th and 8th with 2 huge shots, Conor stayed disciplined and didn't abandon the strategy. That is a fighter who has grown mentally and technically. Emotion once controlled him, now he uses it strategically. This performance showed Conor is evolving into a complete fighter, and his ring IQ will only keep sharp.
Round after round after round, the feints, it offset him, the game plan by Tony and Conor, and the most important thing is he keeps to it. He give it everything he had in round 7 and 8, and he landed 2 big hard shots, and he still didn't deter from the game plan, and that shows you a level of maturity. He's grown up, and he's willing to stick to a game plan to win a fight. Emotion is no longer involved. Yeah. He's got to keep that in his game plan. He's got to keep that in his process going forward. Emotion has its place in a boxing ring, but not with.
The fight between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. has ignited the British boxing scene with praise for Conor's performance. This victory was deeper than a win. It showcased his tactical intelligence and complete control under pressure. He stayed composed despite Eubank's attempts to rally and the noise surrounding the fight. His mental strength was remarkable, proving his preparation is on another level. Every punch was calculated and efficient, capitalizing on openings without overreaching. Fans saw a fighter who is not just strong but strategically brilliant. Conor's ability to adapt and execute flawlessly shows why he's rising fast. His balanced aggression and discipline created a blueprint performance that welterweights will study. This win solidifies him as a formidable force, and fans are already eager to see what comes next.